welcome and thank you so much for joining me on this episode of the Guru Code podcast, GURU podcast. I like to spell it out because I want to make sure that you understand that you are the centre of everything that we do here. It's where you embrace your leadership brilliance by unlocking your specific and personal unique code and bring that to the table so you have your brilliance on tap whenever you actually desire it. I call it leadership by design because it's not about having to squeeze yourself into somebody else's shoes. This is all about you. If this is the first time that we've met, then my name's Liz and I welcome you. This is the Guru Code. It's all about breaking down the blocks to your success. Today's episode, well, it's been sparked by a number of things, a number of conversations that I've had in network meetings with clients, with colleagues that are, just general coffee times that I've had with them, catching up with them and one-to-ones. And it's all sort of really boiled down to that need to be courageous, that feeling that can I really keep going forward? Can I really take on yet another year? Is it going to be a challenging year? And that was a classic that was put to me just earlier this week. It's going to be a challenging year. Well, this is all about that mindset and being able to turn that brilliance on to really sort of navigate that. So our topic today is all about courage because we want to feel courageous. It's a really powerful feeling. It's very empowering too. It's lovely to be seen as courageous. That's all about credibility. It's all about giving value and being useful and being worth it. We want that leading role, the hero, the heroine of our own story. Why wouldn't we? Well, I'm going to get tough now because if that's not what you want, I'm going to save you an awful lot of time because actually, the Guru Code is not for you if that's not what you want, because we are all about creating a life without limits, without those restrictions. And we all do get stuck from time to time. So Edmund Hilary famously said, "It's not the mountain that we must conquer, but ourselves." And boy, wasn't he true in every area of our life. And my friend, that points our compass directly towards the brilliance at self-leadership, your brilliance, the purpose of working on yourself in order to make things happen for you. Self-leadership is the ability to masterfully lead yourself through and over those, the lonely terrain, is tough terrain of being in business, being in leadership positions, so you can create that success that you want for yourself, your family, your business, your life. It all sounds very dramatic, but if you're not achieving the results you want, the odds are it's on you. That's tough to accept sometimes, isn't it? Those invisible paradigms that run the show in your subconscious, they're the hum that goes on in the background all the time. Those beliefs, those fears, the guilt that lie in you that put the brakes on just as you reach the far edges of your comfort zone and you're just about to go outside, the brakes come on. I do get it, and I get it because I do the same. This is not about being infallible. It's not about not being real. I do the same. It's how we're wired naturally as human beings to avoid pain, to avoid danger, to avoid the things that, are going to bring about harm to us. And it's also the results of our nurturing. A lot of this stuff has been given to us. But it's where Sir Edmund's quote is so real, isn't it? It's us we have to overcome. Those situations, the actions and the investments required, the changes to be made to go to the next level can certainly feel like mountainous obstacles, but they're all being created within. Think about your immediate response you go through when you start to search for the necessary courage to get to the next stage, the next level, the next thing that you need to do for your business or for your career or your department. Think about it. See, Can't do it, won't do it. I don't know where to start. Quick, what excuses can I find that will mean no one can argue with me? Oh, outrageous suggestion. Are you out of your tiny mind? If you think that I'm going to put myself through all of that, for what? Utterly futile. It has already happened. When it definitely all happened to me. It's happened to others. Unbelievable. What that you think that I would even attempt anything that size. Run for the hills, run like the freaking clappers. Do not stop, do not pass go. Shove the £200. Affirmations. Who the hell in their right mind believes that lying to yourself has ever made a shift worth a difference? You lie to yourself once. Where are you ever going to trust yourself again? That's not what we're about. Guarantees. The G for guarantees. What are the guarantees? Oh, that's right. There isn't any. There's not one in sight. And when it all goes wrong, who has to pick up the pieces? That's what I ask you. The final E. Excuse me? If I just point out to you that things are not that as bad as they seem to be, that they could be worse, is that... Can you leave me alone now? The range of emotions when you go through courage all point towards that self-doubt, becoming frozen to the spot. It's things that rush through our brains unconsciously, but that's what happens. Now, I remember being on the side of a rock face, hundreds of meters in the air, on a very rusty, rickety spiral staircase, one which my husband thought he would just point out to me would never pass health and safety in the UK. It was a single-file staircase, and the warm, dry, fragrant Sri Lankan wind just whistled round, up my shorts, past my ears. In front of me was a man's bottom. That's how tight everything was on these steps. And behind me was my husband's head. You couldn't see any faces. We were literally that close to each other. I had nowhere to go. I mean, literally nowhere. The entire staircase was like a swarm of army ants. Hundreds of us on this towering staircase, all just waiting just to take one more step to the top. It was just terrifying. Apart from me, I just froze. I literally froze. My hands gripped the rails. No matter where I looked, all I could see was height and distance, and my head just swam. I mean, it was just the most awful feeling. And I can remember thinking, much safer just to stay where I am. Let's just not let go, I thought. I did, however, find the courage to move after a while, and it did seem like a complete age before I moved, and everyone had moved on in front of me. Nothing my husband was saying in his attempts to encourage me really worked. In fact, to be honest, I wanted to murder him, because in his own very nervous, bless him, way of trying to gee me on was nothing short of just irritating. And if I was ever going to make it anywhere, this is what I thought, up or down, I had to take an action, and it had to come from within. It didn't matter who else was there. It really didn't. And coming from within was nothing to do with adding extra threats or fears to where I already was. The threats like, feel the fear and do it anyway. You'll be pleased when you've done it and it's all over. Life is hard and it's full of risks. Count to 5 and JFDI. I could spell it out, but it is just effing do it. what are you, man or mouse? None of those things really work. We don't want to hear those things. No, what I'm suggesting to you is to find that courage, honour your reservations, honour your self-doubt, and work through them with compassion. Find the strength in that vulnerability. Unlock your specific code to having courage. And I always talk about starting with the end in mind. So listen to this. E. Easy does it. Just put one foot in front of the other. Follow the process to what you really desire. You are not one. You are not one of the many who give up on what you want tomorrow and settle for today. G. Glimpses of brilliance and inspiration are only visible when you move outside of your comfort zone. Diamonds, after all, are created under pressure. A. Have a bloody go. Competence comes before confidence, and that process requires practice. If our hypothesis is wrong, we'll change the hypothesis. R. Resources are all around you if you have the headspace to see them and the willingness to test them, to find the best one for the job, and there are many. You underestimate the power of vulnerability and you will forever feel weak. Success and life are not solo adventures. Look at who you are surrounding yourself with. Oh, one can only control what's in one's sphere of influence. Out of my hands, then it's got no right to demand my energies. What I don't know, I will learn or ask. C. Of course you can. What's possible for one is possible for another, and that is a world truth. So let me know your takeaways. I hope that's been interesting. You've got to remember, confidence comes before competence, and competence comes when you have the courage to take action. Start with the end in mind. Always go backwards. Make sure it's really what you want. Anyway, thank you so much for listening. I hope it's given you some food for thought and something to think about for today. Obviously, do come and connect with me on LinkedIn, drop me an email, visit my website, let me know how things are for you. And I'll see you again. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.